More and more people are moving to cities, and that's going to affect almost every industry.
We are very cautious and very aware to make a conscious effort to work with the ecosystem.
What can the average person do to take action now? Not one person can change the world, but if we all do a little something different, it might help.
Being open to embracing innovation.
Know that you can make a difference. Absolutely. There's no excuse not to even do a little bit.
Let's go check it out. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Green Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Welch, and with this show, we are always trying to bring you leaders, entrepreneurs, business owners, scientists, CEOs who are doing really exciting things in renewable energy and clean technology. And I've been fortunate enough to meet our guest, Paul Nijssen, today. We've had some conversations before this. Really cool guy, really smart guy, and doing some really exciting things. So I'm excited to share his story, learn a little bit more about him, and just kind of get his vision for where the industry as a whole is going. Paul is the founder and president of EV Charge for You and has been doing some really exciting things in the renewable energy and clean tech space. So Paul, thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me, Dylan.
So let's kind of start with EV Charge for You. Tell us a little bit about the company.
Well, EV Charge for You, it started actually already 11 years ago when I had the first touch with an electrical car and did an install for a Fiat 500. At the time, it was Nijssen electric, but a lot of people have problems with that last name. So we decided to, when we start really going into electric car charges, we switched it to EV Charge for You. And because it was available on the internet, and it was a nice clicking sounded for us a nice sound bite for somebody who can remember the name if we drive by and see the logo on our fans.
Nice. And tell us a little bit about sort of the day-to-day services and work that you do as the CEO and founder of the company.
Well, the funny part is that I still do hands-on work sometimes, what a CEO maybe shouldn't do, but I have so much fun with the guys that, of course, my stage is site visit, quotes, and get the ball rolling. My team will make sure that there's a permit in place, the drawings in place, and then we're going out for an install. And people ask me always, are you going to do the install yourself? And I said, if you're lucky, you will find me on the job site. So most of the times I do the bigger jobs like multifamily housing, service for PG&E, the utility company, who has a brand EV box, what I'm the troubleshooter for and the commissioning guy. But yeah, you can find me anywhere in the company.
And so EV Charge for You, you guys will actually come and install the chargers for electric vehicles. Is that correct?
That's correct. We don't make them. We have a preferred choice what we like to install, but we'll leave it also to the client. And we do residential clients, of course. That's where it started with. So that's the backbone. But we're moving more from multifamily housing into commercial things where we do our work.
Well, so you've been running the company for 11 years. And I mean, right now, I'm sure, you're pretty excited with how things are going. There's obviously such a big push in the last, 5-10-ish years for electric vehicles. Tell us a little bit about your background and just how the whole vision for the company started 11 years ago.
Well, my background is that I come originally from the Netherlands and met this wonderful lady in Belize, got married, moved over, and even as a chief estimator when I was there in the Netherlands, I needed to start here from the beginning as an apprentice. Even if I had my master's degree in the Netherlands as an electrician, here we needed to start from the beginning. That was not a problem for me. Start working for an electrical company, but I was quickly not satisfied how the service was going. And so I decided to move on and start for myself a business. And at that time, you had a few dips in the markets, and I got the chance with Tesla to be one of the installers who started in the beginning as a certified installer, do troubleshoots, but also help to install charging stations. That's a little bit of, in a nutshell.
Yeah, damn, that's the American dream right there. Honestly, coming to America, starting a business. Was your business originally more electrician services, or did you always have the vision for going into the electric vehicle area?
I was in the just electrical services, but when I switched to start my own company, I had one gap year where I was into the lighting control industry at Adura Technology, but was later on sold. I was there as a contractor on contracting base. But during the dip from in the market, I found out there was nothing for me. So I went back into the electrical business. And really 2 months later, one of my old colleagues came by and said, "Hey, do you want to work for Tesla?" I said, "Well, it's nice, but I'm good on my own." And so we went, instead of going to the solar site, where I was pretty much overqualified for with my background, I got a chance to work directly with Tesla Motors, what was great. What opens doors, of course, to the dream, and believing in how do you say, clean energy, but also the environment, and having a chance to drive an electric car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty fun. And I know that's something that you're pretty passionate about as well. Did you kind of always have the vision that you wanted to transition and work in the renewable energy space, or were you more on your sort of entrepreneurial business owner pivot mode where you just, you change the business as the market changes?
So when I got the chance, it was great to, I was sitting at home and I said, "Well, that is great." I mean, I went in 2008 to San Carlos, the city of San Carlos, where Tesla was still a startup, with a group of Formula One freaks. We went and saw the two prototypes from the Tesla Roadsters. And I'm not a car guy. And I said to my wife when I came home, I said, "I want one car, and that's a Tesla." And she started laughing, of course. And the funny part later on is that with my 6'2", I really didn't fit into that car anyway. So it didn't even work out. But in the meantime, you start focusing on working with these electric cars. And if you are early in the scene, you see what you can do and not can do. Even I start training my competitors, working for EV Box, just to show them how to install charging stations, because there's enough. How do you say? There's enough in the pie for everybody to work in this field.
Yeah, I mean, if you were looking at the prototypes for the Roadsters, you must have really been, there at the very beginning.
Yes.
That's crazy. And so when you were approached by your friend to kind of get involved, how did this conversation go? Because I mean, in my experience, Tesla really kind of pushed the entire sort of national goal of, being able to drive across the country and being able to charge. So at that time, that really wasn't possible. And that was one of the bigger sort of things holding people back. I remember was they didn't want to get an electric vehicle because they couldn't drive cross country. There wasn't chargers everywhere. So what was sort of like the sentiment, and what was sort of the thought process of your friend and you in that moment? Was it like light bulb goes off, this is the future, or? I can make money on this, or like, oh, this is like a whole new, like just because now we're so used to it, right? Like we see Tesla's electric vehicles are a lot more normal. Like what was it, what was going through your mind in those early days?
In these early days, it was more taking the chance to get a chance to work with a great company where everybody, you like it or you don't like it. In the beginning, there were, they didn't do advertisement. But it is very, I don't know. I thought like, hey, this is clean. There's no pollution anymore. I mean, I think we hate it all when people start running their engines to warm up their car. And I got tired of it. And so, especially here in the US, where you have these drive-throughs, McDonald's and whatever you have, and people run the car because they can. The entitlement not to shut the car off for the pollution. No, they let it run the car. And I thought there needs to be a game changer. And of course, Tesla was not the only one. It was Nijssen also. But they had a little bit less success in their batteries in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny that you mentioned how you were training your competitor, because it's kind of like the chicken or the egg. You have to get the chargers. The more chargers there are, the more, people will buy electric vehicles. The more electric vehicles there are, the more chargers they'll need. So that's kind of interesting that you saw, that opportunity and said, hey, if we can get more chargers out there, more people will be interested in buying, the vehicles. There's more infrastructure to help them. So you were really there at the beginning. And now, I mean, it's a little, I don't want to say a little bit normal. It's a lot more of the norm. So how, as a business owner working in renewable energy and electric vehicles on a day-to-day basis, like what's your overall thought of the market, like where everything is going to be going, within the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh, the next 5 to 10 years. Well, if the chip shortage is done, when we don't have that problem anymore, I think it will go very fast. Next to that, we have the battery technology, what is changing. Everybody tries to get solid state batteries in there so you can charge faster and have a longer drive. With all the models what coming out right now, and of course, if you don't chip in on the internet to get, get your reservation number, then you're locked a little bit out on this moment. So I advise people to at least make a reservation from a car where you think you want to have, and then you can always decide if you want to have your money back or not. Tesla is still the front runner. I think that the other people should have a hard time in following up with them. And the main reason is if you travel, you talked already about traveling, the network, what Tesla put out on their fast charging network, it's amazing. And it's not that you have an EVgo or an Electrify America where you have only, say, 6 charging stations. No, Tesla put a bank of 20 in, and there you go. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I see places, if I go to the Central Valley, to Fresno, where I do some service work, that Tesla even had already a second supercharging station just a quarter mile away from the other one, mm-hmm. because the demand is so high. That says enough. And other than that, last night I stayed in a hotel with my trench crew, and where do you go? I choose a hotel with a supercharger. Mm-hmm. So while I'm checking in, that car is filling up, and when I get settled in my room, I unplug it and park my car.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because the economic opportunities there too. I mean, you charged your car overnight to fill up a gas tank nowadays. It's $70 to $100, if not even more than that. So that's pretty exciting. Does EV charge for you? So you said you install Tesla chargers. Do you install other chargers as well, or are you strictly Tesla?
No, absolutely not. No. Tesla is, we have a good name in the Tesla area here in the San Francisco Bay Area. No, we install every charger what you want. That is not a problem, and it doesn't matter who you are, what level you are. The only time I don't want to install something if it doesn't make sense. There are people who need to spend so much money to get something to their garage, an electrical circuit to the garage, that I sometimes say, how many miles do you drive? Oh, we drive only 20 miles a day. Mm-hmm. I said, please go on vacation, put it in your kids' college fund. I don't care. Don't spend it on EV charge for you. That doesn't make sense. And if you're going to travel, you're going to hit a supercharger anyway.
Mm-hmm. And so, and I'm just curious, when you install a charger, does it work for any, like, do electric vehicles have a universal charger port, or is it different with each model?
So US is a little bit different because it is Tesla and there's the other group of people. So the basic home charger is a 208 or 240, depending on what you have at your house. And it's a J1772. Now, Tesla has his own little proprietary hookup, but they provide adapters to it. Next to that, a half year ago, you find them all over Amazon now. You can use a Tesla charger, get an adapter for $170, and charge your regular car.
Oh wow! So do you think it's better to get a Tesla charger and the adapter, or? And
I don't say that. Price wise, I mean, if you really go focus on pricing, the Tesla is very good price. Mm-hmm. You say you need to get a Tesla charger. No, there's ChargePoint, there's Wallbox, there are all kinds of chargers who does the same trick.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that we kind of talked about, which I thought was really interesting, is you said you work with a lot of, both commercial and residential homes and a lot of multi-unit homes. So walk us through sort of that overall process from a business standpoint and how that works. Like, I understand, if you have a residential home, you have an electric vehicle, you install the charger. But when it comes to, let's say you're a landlord or a real estate manager, what type of value, or how does that work when you start adding electric vehicle chargers to your properties? And then how does that even work as well on a more commercial area too?
So I think that the landlords who still don't want to do it, they're going to miss out. I think for 8 years now, I have once a month a client who asks me, can I install a charging station or not in this condo building or apartment building? Otherwise, I don't want my apartment or condo. And sometimes it goes wrong. What the property owner should know is that if you install an EV charging station right now in your condo or apartment, your equity goes up quickly to $30,000. Talking about
that automatically adds an additional $30,000 to the property value.
Yes, and it even Realtors.com said they expect that if over the course of 5 to 8 years, it will be $50,000 to $80,000 on top of your equity.
Wow.
Well, that's a no-brainer. I said, if I can get $15,000 out of it, if I can sell my condo or apartment, then I say, wow, that is great. But yes, these numbers are not lying. They say if you don't have a charging station, the property is minus $7,000. But if I add it, it's going to be $20,000 to $30,000.
Wow,
that is major.
Mm-hmm.
That's major. And of course, we're talking about the Bay Area and we talk about the LA area. the Boston and New York area. But in other places, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Especially when the trucks are rolling out now, it's a little bit of a hurdle that Rivian has and what Ford and GM have. But the people who drive an electric truck, if they're going to step in the truck driver going to step in that electric truck, they're going to be flabbergasted and they're going to say, wow, I should think about this earlier.
That's cool. And I mean, I think generally speaking, in a lot of different trends throughout America, it does start, typically in California, in New York. The early adapters pay a little extra, for these companies to start up and grow, and then it expands from there. So it's not surprising to hear that. It's actually kind of cool to think about. We're sort of in that time right now. And going back to that question, 5-10 years from now, that'll be the norm. So that's something to kind of think about, just in terms of whether, you're shopping for your next car, or you're shopping for your next home, or, you're moving to a potential new city. So you said a home without it actually loses value.
Yes.
That's crazy. And then you can, thinking about just adding solar panels to your roof and how it can all be connected, you can essentially be your own power grid, charging your car off the,
yeah,
that's really,
or if you have batteries behind it. We had this weekend outage, and the whole neighborhood was, of course, no power except my house. And I of course, I need to laugh then. And then I asked my neighbor across the street, I said, when do you get your electric car? And she said, Paul, I'm the last one you get me in an electric car. I said, well, I don't get you an electric car, but put the numbers next to it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, my wife and I drive both an electric car. We charge every day. My solar is not great in the winter time, but still we pay almost nothing for driving our car on a monthly basis. It is, I compared with her, where she had a Ford Fusion with filled up for $110 on gasoline, and she says, I can drive 500 miles with this tank of gas. I said, okay, my old Tesla can only drive 200 miles, but I charge that thing for $10. Now count that up, and I'm $25 compared to $110. And then with the one pedal driving, I said, there's only, you don't brake with your brakes. You brake on your motor and regenerate, batteries power. And what can I tell you? I always say to people, it's a no-brainer. The only things what you need for this electric car is windshield wipers and tires. And of course you need an air filter for your cabin once in a while. But other than that, you don't need nothing. You get the updates over the air. You don't need to go to the dealer who charge you an arm and a leg for a little oil, an oil change and a little. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. And I think it's really cool. And I think, that's why I love talking to you right now and having this podcast, because you're such a embodiment of the American dream, coming here, essentially getting an entire new education, even though you already had one, going into business for yourself, and then just seeing these trends and where, the market is going and getting ahead of it. And now just being, kind of at the forefront of it. That's really exciting. And it'll be exciting to kind of watch, as the industry grows, how EV charge for you will grow. Where do you kind of plan on taking the company, in the future? Where do you see it in the next 5-10 years?
Of course, my revenue goes up these years. I love what I do. If people give me a smile every day, then I'm a happy camper. And of course, I thought sometimes, like, maybe I need to step a little bit back and let somebody else take that journey further than me. Can happen in the next 2 years that I slow a little bit down. and it has probably the effect that that I like to be with the guys outside. Not that I'm helpful with 55 years old, I'm more directing, but hands-on, I'm still faster than them if I need to.
Well, I mean, that's really cool because I'm a huge believer in, if you have the passion to go out and start a business, go out and do it, because I think there's so many things you can learn about yourself by doing that. And you find this newfound freedom. And if you can start a business, that's successful, there's obviously the financial aspects to it, but also you start a business in an industry that, is good for the planet and is helping. So you're kind of checking off these three things. So, and that's what my goal has always been for my company is I want to, run my own company. I want to do it in an industry that helps in one way or another. And, ideally make enough money where I can be comfortable and live and support myself and my family. So if you're doing that, it's almost like it's not a job sometimes, it's just something fun. So why give it up if you don't have to? I think that's really the dream right there is, when you can find that sweet spot of all those things, that's where I've learned in the 120 podcast episodes that we've done, all the articles, not only is that where I think a lot of people find success, but they also find a lot of happiness too. So, I think you're going to be a big inspiration to a lot of people who are listening to this. Real quick. So where, if we have someone who is interested in, installing an electric vehicle charger in their place, or just has some questions or just wants to reach out, what's the best way to connect with you?
To connect to evchargeforyou.com, or just send us an email, quick email to hello@evchargeforyou.com. Then we can help them quickly further. In the Bay Area, that's where we work pretty much. But if there are bigger installs, then we will go outside where we need to go to.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. What's the biggest install you've ever done, out of curiosity?
I think, this is a funny thing is as a small installer, you don't get not often the chance. So we're working now on a 24 ports in a parking garage. Level 2 charge is what I think is still enough. In this case, this is for an office building, and it's more for topping off the cars for their employees. Mm-hmm. And that's how I see it also. People always say, I want to charge fast. No, level 2 is more than enough. You can do it with a 208 or 240, and you get quickly 20 to 30 miles an hour out of your car to charge. So if you wake up in the morning, it's more than enough, because most people don't drive more than 60 to 80 miles a day. Mm-hmm. Even me in the Bay Area, driving to San Francisco is a round trip 60 miles.
Yeah.
So it's not even, it's not rocket science just to, you can even do it with a slower charge and still have fun.
Yeah. And especially too, I mean, I'm sure we'll get to a point where you can charge your electric vehicle at home, then you get to your office and you can charge it there too. So I've got a million questions for you. We'll have to get you back on the podcast soon, but I'll end it with this. You mentioned that you went and saw some prototypes of the Tesla. Do you have any sort of moment that stands out where you're just like, a couple of years later, like, damn, this is really happening. Like, I saw this prototype and now Teslas are everywhere, or just sort of in general, being in the industry, like, wow, this is actually, I'm witnessing change happening right now.
So, and it's not only about the car industry, it's also about the truck industry. We know we were 2 years down with COVID, but last year the act in Long Beach was available again for the fleet. When you were there before at this conference, it was more diesel and hydrogen, and electrical was a little bit packed away in the corner. When I came last September, I think it was September, October, I went to the act back, and the whole electrical part took pretty much everything over. There was just a little bit of hydrogen, no diesels anymore, no nothing. It was all electric. Then I love to go to the CES in Vegas. Luckily, even if they're strict, I can still get in. To see there the prototypes, great. I saw Fiscus, we saw even the company FinFast. I never heard about FinFast, a company out of Vietnam who is producing already electric cars and had 8 models what they're coming out with, but they're going to send 2 models to the US after September, October. It's great news. And it's just exciting to see all these things popping up. And of course, there will be some failures. I mean, Fisker had a failure in the past, but I think Hendrik did a very good job in regrouping. What did they do wrong? And he's coming back, and I even ordered a car. I even willing to step out of my Tesla to get a Fisker car. It's unbelievable. So even Sony and Honda coming out with a full electric car. Go on.
Yeah, it's cool. And I mean, again, even just, and I'm sure I live in San Diego, you're in San Francisco, just you drive around day in, day out, and it seems like every day you start seeing more and more electric vehicles. I mean, even just I've lived in San Diego for 8 years. When I first moved here, you wouldn't really see too many electric vehicles. Then I'd be like, oh, cool, I saw a Tesla this week. Then it's like, oh, I saw a Tesla today. Now it's like, you almost don't even notice because they're just everywhere. And that's an amazing sign. And not just Teslas, but, all different types of electric vehicles.
No,
So.
but even the Asian market, Hyundai, I mean, China has several companies who have their cars there right now. But I think it will grow. I mean, you see Volvo stepping up with their Polestar and with the regular cars. It's going to be an amazing journey for everybody. And I think, I'm getting a little bit tired of hearing, how do you say that now? A Tesla killer. It doesn't matter. Just do your thing and make it happen. And make a good car. Make a good product where everybody enjoys to drive in. I hate it when I need to go into a gasoline car. I hate it. So, yeah, if I go overseas to my home country, the Netherlands, I even rent a car what is electric. I do that already for 5 years. And every time I get a different car. So it's fun.
Yeah. Honestly, Paul, it's super cool because I can tell, you're a happy guy, you enjoy what you're doing, and it's really admirable. Like I said before, truly living the American dream, coming to America, starting a business, a successful business in an industry that, is good for the planet. Really, really doing some cool stuff. So I'm really glad we met. I'm really glad we've been able to chat. I don't think this will be the last time. In fact, we'll have to get you back on the podcast. We should make this a monthly thing or something, but I really want to thank you for taking some time out of your day to chat with us and share your story.
Well, it's a pleasure to talk to you. It's always nice to talk about something where you believe in. So yes, and hope to see you soon at the summit anyway.
Yes, exactly. Paul, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, who listens, who shares, who follows. We appreciate every single one of you. It means a lot to us. Again, our goal is to just bring you leaders, news, information, organizations, nonprofits, startups, billionaires, millionaires, anyone and everyone in between who is doing something in the renewable energy, clean tech, sustainable space. Pick their brains, get a little bit of information, and hopefully we can take some of that and apply it to our lives, whether that's investing, checking out some new technology, changing up our lives, or just, going out and doing our little part to make the world a better place. So thank you for tuning in. If you want to check out Paul and EV Charge for You, we'll have a link to his website in the episode description. So feel free to reach out, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Green Podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.